Alpine have a spare seat for 2025. We need to discuss what drivers should Alpine be looking at ahead of the 2025 Formula One season. Yes, that's right. Of course, we know about Esteban Ocon no longer being a driver for the Alpine team. So who's going to fill that seat? Let's get right into it. Let's talk about it. And I start things off number one, no particular order, Jack Doohan. Yes, the man has come from the academy, of course. Alpine, Renault, they've prided themselves in bringing drivers through into Formula One. And Jack seems to be the man that everyone is talking about. He seems to be the hot favourite at this moment in time. The question I have, however, should Alpine be going down this road? Okay, if anything, they need to buck their ideas up because that Alpine car has been woeful this season. It's been woeful for the last couple of seasons, okay? And I think the last thing they probably need is a rookie. Do they need a rookie to fill that seat? Personally, I don't think they do, but if they're going to have a rookie, of course, it should be one of their own. It should be Jack, who's been very, very impressive in Formula 2, very impressive in Formula 3. So why not have him in the Alpine seat ahead of 2025? Of course, the new regulations, 2026, Jack gets himself well established in the team, and who knows, it could be a very surprising prospect in Formula 1. But we have to wait and see. It's all potential. We have no idea what's going to be going on with Mr. Jack Doohan. Number two, Mick Schumacher. Do you remember him? Yes, the son of Michael Schumacher, of course. This is a man who was at the Haas team. Flattered to deceive, you know what I mean? We didn't really get much out of him in that Haas team. Now, don't get me wrong, Haas was shambolic when he was there. But he's been away for a year, you know, he's doing his thing, in fact 2 years even. And you know what? It's one of those situations where maybe he could sneak through the back door. Highly unlikely though. This looks like an outside chance here, and I can't really see people or any teams really looking at Mick Schumacher because of what happened when he was at Haas. He was costing the team money because that man was crashing left, right and centre. And, you know, the talent is there. It's a case of, would you want to be in the Alpine? Listen, when you're Mick Schumacher, you don't really have the choice or the plethora of choosing where you get to go. But nonetheless, I still think that, you know what, maybe, just maybe, Alpine might look to see if Mick Schumacher will be a good prospect. Mick Schumacher, it doesn't fill me with the feels except for the name. You never know. It would be good to see him back in Formula 1, but will it be the Alpine team? I'm not too sure. And if you're him, would you really want to join this circus team? Not too sure. Number three, now this is where it gets interesting, okay? This is where it gets interesting, people. Carlos Sainz. Yes, that's right. Why? Because Carlos Sainz, at the time of recording, still hasn't decided who he's going to be joining in 2025, and the places are getting filled, okay? Time is ticking. Time is running out for Mr. Carlos Sainz. He needs to make a decision. Now, when you think about it, right? Let's just say, for example, Carlos Sainz hasn't got the option of, say, a Mercedes or a Red Bull, right? So he's going to be looking in the midfield where you're looking at a Williams, you're looking at maybe Audi. Where else can you really go? I mean, Alpine's, you know, kind of the same bracket, is it not? I know it's having a terrible season, but history says that, you know what, Renault, they're normally around the midfield pack, right? And of course, Carlos Sainz used to drive for Renault. So it's not like he's going to be going to a completely brand new team. He'll be going to a team that he's been there with before. And yeah, you know, it's been a very, very interesting situation with Carlos Sainz. I'm very surprised that up until now, we still don't know where he will be going. Yes, there's rumours, there's people linking him left, right and centre. And I think Alpine has not been spoken of at all. But I think this is something that we should really consider. And I think Alpine definitely will be knocking on that door of Carlos Sainz. They've got to try and convince that this team is good enough. But they've got everything in place in terms of infrastructure. It's all there. It's just the personnel, the people that are running this team, they're having a bubble bath. My fourth choice, have a look at this, Alex Albon. Yeah, nobody's really talking about Alex to be joining Alpine, and I think they should have a look at this situation. Why? Because listen, the Williams is looking promising, okay? It is looking very good. James Vowles has got the team going there, and you know, Adrian Newey might decide he wants to go over there. You never know, it could look like a really, really hot prospect in future. But the thing I will say is this: Alex Albon needs to go to a team that's better than Williams. If he's going to leave Williams, it needs to be better. And I'll say this, marginally, okay, Alpine is better than Williams. I know the 2024 season might seem like, hey, this Alpine team is not serious. It's allergic to prosperity. I get all of that. However, it's still a more solid team at this moment in time than, say, a Williams team. But the thing is, it's the personnel with Alpine, like I've mentioned already. The Alpine team, honestly, they've got so much potential in the bag. And Albon, if I was him, actually, it's exciting if you're Albon. If you're a driver of that ilk where you're looking at, okay, where can I move? Where can I go? Or if I need to move, where will it be? Where shall I be going to? If I'm looking at the Alpine team thinking, hang on a minute, there's bags of potential here at this team. But the thing is, when you've been potential ever since, 2019, you're almost like, yeah, whatever, it's a dead horse here. Let's just move on and leave. But Of course, if you're Alpine, you've got to have a look at Alex Albon, because what he's doing in that Williams, squeezing every juice, all the points he's getting out of that Williams team. Listen, it cannot be underestimated, especially when he's got a teammate like Logan Sargent who's barely sniffing points in that Williams teams over the last 2 years. How about Yuki Tsunoda? People, do not sleep on this situation, okay? Yuki Tsunoda looks like somebody who, of course, is ready to pounce. He's ready to jump and move on to the next stage, okay? He's doing phenomenal scenes at RB, okay? He's absolutely sitting down Danny Ricciardo, all right? But where can he go next? Where is the place for him to move in 2025? Well, look no further than Alpine, because I don't think the top seats are going to be there for Yuki Tsunoda, but I think he could leave RB for an Alpine, and I think Alpine will be definitely knocking on that door. You can imagine he's got the pace, he's a quick driver, he's got the sponsorship, he's got the money as well, and yeah, you never know, man. I just think, it will be a good connection, a good combo there. I'd like to see Yuki Tsunoda in the Alpine uniform. It will look quite interesting, but the thing is, he's a bit reckless, okay? So imagine having him in a reckless team. It could be a recipe for disaster. So maybe on second thought, I'm not too sure. Sixth place, Bottas, very quickly, yeah, because look, Bottas has got the experience, and I think Bottas in general, I know like he's somebody who seems to have signed out ages ago, but it looks like this man needs a new lease of life, okay? So how about Valtteri Bottas jumps in the Alpine? Let's see what he can do. You never know. He could have a new lease of life, and he could be absolutely brilliant again. Remember, he's won 10 races in Formula 1. That's more than Danny Ricciardo, okay? Now, albeit he was in a Mercedes, I get all of that, but he still won the races nonetheless. He still got the pole positions as well, so he got poles over Lewis Hamilton, here and there, maybe like a third of the poles maybe. But the thing is he's still a decent driver, I think. At this moment in time, he's on the way down, but I think if you give him a new lease of life and you shove him in that Alpine, listen, you never know, man. You never know. Like, guys, don't forget, this is Alpine we're talking about, okay? It would not surprise me if Esteban Ocon signs again in the winter with Alpine. Why? Because they can't find nobody, because nobody wants to be there, okay? And don't forget, Pierre Gasly's contract runs out at the end of this season. So it's not to say, Gasly's going to be staying there next year. Don't get it twisted. Remember the start of the season, by the way, there was rumors that both of these drivers wanted to leave Alpine because of the horror show that it is, okay? Let's not get comfortable and think that Alpine have the plethora of choice just to say, yep, we're going to have Gasly and we're going to choose whoever else we want. Them getting rid of Ocon, I'm telling you, I've seen stranger things, and if there's a team that is strange, it's definitely Alpine, okay? It will not surprise me in the least, right? If Gasly says, you know what, I ain't extending my contract here, I'm out of here, and then they result back to Esteban Ocon, you heard it here first, okay? Esteban Ocon to join the Alpine again in 2025. Honestly, scenes of glorious emotion. It will make me laugh to the hills. What driver do you reckon should join the Alpine team in 2025? Who should Alpine be on the phone to right now, right this second? Who should they be belling off to get them in their team for next year? Comment below your thoughts on which driver should be joining Alpine in 2025. And comment as well if you think Pierre Gasly will actually renew his contract. If you think he will, tell me why. Why would he be staying at Alpine when you look at the horror show that it currently is? If you like any of the drivers that I've suggested, I know I named basically the whole grid, do me a favor, smash a like on the video. Until next time, lights out.